Hello, my name is Chris and welcome to the third episode of Talking Bollocks. A podcast where we invite people to come and have a chat about mental health, how it affects them, how they work through it, how to work with it. We are in Huddersfield again, and it's raining. It's actually sounding it down, so you might hear a bit of rain in the background. But we'll cope with it. We are professional-ish, and we'll work through it. So my guest today is David Crabb. Good morning, David. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Chris. Yeah, very well.
I hope you're expecting this to be a bit professional.
It'll be fine.
So we'll just crack on with it and just have a chat. We've got a list of questions down here,
Right.
which I think the idea is we go through them one at a time.
Okay.
But we'll just chat, and we'll go from one to the next one to the next one to the next one, and we'll probably end up doing them all in less one question.
Right, yeah.
Okay. Right then. Can you tell a little bit about yourself? As much as you want to.
I'm the youngest of 3 kids. It was quite an interesting childhood because my dad was a Church of England vicar. So we moved around. So we started out in Grimethorpe, which is a pit village near Barnsley. We were there for about 5 years. And then we moved to a place called Stanley, which is near Wakefield. And we were there probably about 7 or 8 years. And then finally he got a job at Birkby Church in Huddersfield, so we were there, and I was there for the rest of my childhood really. It was a bit weird, hate to say it, but I mean I went to an ordinary, fairly rough comprehensive school, and being a vicar's son when everybody else's dads were minors, so
Stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah. Which didn't happen to my brothers because they went to Quakes at Wakefield, the grammar school. But for some reason, because I had friends from junior school that were going on to the secondary school, I said I'll just go there, sort of thing. So yeah, 1 or 2 dark passages in my childhood, but on the whole, I had a good time.
So you're a localish lad then?
I was born in Barnsley, and then, I've always lived in sort of South or West Yorkshire. When I was a student, I spent a couple of years living in London. That was a good period of my life. And I actually met my future wife when I was living down there. We were very naughty. We cohabited for a couple of years. So, it was good fun. We had a knackered old Vauxhall Viva that we used to drive up and down the M1 when we came. And we took out the RAC recovery package, which I think we got our money's worth out of it several times over, including being, having the car on a transporter from Epping back to Huddersfield at least twice. I think they were glad when that car left. But no, I had quite a happy time. My brother's really close to Mike, who's the second in line, as it were. We have a lot of happy memories. My eldest brother Paul, he's okay, but I don't really see that much of him. And when we were growing up, because he was the firstborn, we felt he got preferential treatment, which is probably not true, but that's how it felt. So
it always feels like that.
Yeah.
So it sounds like it's been quite varied then. I've been moving around it. But in the local area.
Yes, I mean, it's quite uprooting, you know, particularly when you're like 10 and,
yeah.
you know, like, I think I was 15 when we moved to Huddersfield. And they said, you know, do you want to go to the local school, which I think would have been Fartown in Huddersfield, or do you want to keep going to Outwood Grange at Wakefield? And I said, well, because I'm in the exam years, it'd probably be better just commuting across. But that was an experience and a half, because I had to go by train every morning and come back by train. So I had no spare time really. It was a bit of an intensive 2 years, but eventually settled in Huddersfield, and I love it. I wouldn't live anywhere else. Which is
quite a nice area. Actually, I've got a series of questions. Which we may dip into or may not.
All right. Okay.
The next one, a weird one is: do you suffer from mental health issue?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Do you want to talk about it?
I can do. Yeah. The first signs of mental ill health for me was when I was working as a welfare officer for the police. My job was counselling officers and attending sort of, say, disasters, but sort of critical incidents. Perhaps when there'd been a death in custody, or somebody had been attacked, or you know, a police officer had been injured or whatever. And although we had a psychologist who supported us in that he would take some of the clients on, we were at the sharp end really, the welfare staff, and we had to be on call, which was a bit of a strain. You couldn't have a drink, and I like a drink. But like you'd be called out at 2 in the morning, or there's, you know, sort of police officers being found hung or whatever, and you know, we need you to go out and see the family and things like that. So it was pretty stressful. And I'd say about 1997, I just got to the stage where I was taking more and more time off with stress. And eventually they said, look, you know, we appreciate you not so well, but you know, we need feet on the ground. So they said, do you want a medical retirement? And I thought, ooh. So I took it. So around that time I was behaving a bit manically. I was diagnosed with bipolar, and I spent several weeks at different intervals in and out of psychiatric hospital. So I had a CPN, a community psychiatric nurse, who I would see at home when I was at home. And then obviously the psychiatric team when I was an inpatient. And then my mental health went a bit weird in that it wasn't just the extreme highs and lows. My behaviour and my thinking was all to pot. And eventually through psychotherapy and psychiatric support, I was diagnosed with EUPD, which is emotionally unstable personality disorder, which is a bit of a shocking title to be given, because it's what they usually call mass murderers and people. But no, it just means I can't regulate emotion. So
you've got no murderous tendencies at present?
Not at the minute.
Okay, that's fair enough. So I don't probably too high.
So I don't have extreme highs, and I don't experience particularly really down periods because of the medication I'm on. I sort of live on a plateau. And so, for example, I would find it difficult to enter into another romantic relationship, because obviously your emotions are up and down quite a lot, and I just wouldn't be able to function. You know, it could make me ill to the extent where, I was thinking I don't want to be around, sort of thing. Almost sorry.
No, because it's a bit of an extreme situation to be in, isn't it? From what you've said, I assume you want to be in a relationship, don't you? Or you'd like to be in a relationship.
I'm quite happy not having women bossing me about, to be honest, and I've had enough of that. But yeah, there are times and I think, oh, it'd be nice, But I look at the pros and cons, and to be honest, there are so many, for me, difficulties with having that sort of relationship that I tend to think, well, I'm quite happy as I am, so. I have had some very low times. I took an overdose was it 2 years ago? No, it's not, 2020, during COVID. Yeah. Took a massive amount of antipsychotic medication. And I was cognizant enough to ring the ambulance people and say, look, I've done this silly thing. And they said, well, just leave your door unlocked and keys in the back of the door, which I did, which was a good job because ambulances don't come quickly nowadays. And I don't know whether I was given category 3 or whatever in terms of priorities. But the next thing I remember is waking up on intensive care ward at the infirmary in Huddersfield, desperately trying to pull all these wires and tubes out, because I hadn't a clue what was going on, sort of thing. And it was very strange being there during COVID because it was like people in space suits. And it was a horrible experience. Never want to go through that again. But strangely enough, afterwards, I saw the psychiatrist and he said, well, we're discharging you from service. And I said, well, isn't that a bit reckless, because of what's recently happened? And he just said, no, you need to bite the bullet and get out there. You've been too sort of, your life is full of inertia. You need to step out. So
they just
threw me out, yeah. I did pick up a social prescriber support worker who I still see every 3 weeks or so.
Yeah.
But yeah, in one sense, it was a kick up the backside because it made me come down here to Clear. I spent a couple of happy years with them. So that was, yeah.
You're not spending enjoyable time here. It's all in the past.
Oh, right. Well, I've moved on. I'm in Menstock now, so I did have a good time of.
Obviously, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. The other problem I've got is I'm an alcoholic, which the trouble with that, it mitigates the effects of the medication I'm on. So I've got to be really conscious of that. I'm not too bad in that. There's a guy at Menstock who has talked about his own experiences with alcoholism. He says, if you can go dry for 3-4 days in a row, you're not a true alcoholic. So I'm not a true alcoholic, but when I go on a bender,
yeah.
I certainly don't hold back. And of course, not having tons of money, I only drink whiskey, so if you're talking a tenner a day on a half bottle of whiskey, it mounts up. I do get a works pension, but it's only like £1,000 a month. And then I get, obviously PIP and ESA and that. So, and also I've got debts as well, so I'm paying off some debt through an organisation called Step Change. So that's like 200 quid out of my money before I can buy my first bottle of whiskey. So that will all be resolved soon enough. And I'm waffling on.
The good thing about waffling on is it gets stuff off your chest.
Right.
And it also gives us some other way we can get to know you if you want to open up any further.
Right, okay. Yeah. I did a fairly modern bit of psychology support. We have as in Dewsbury, you've got the priestly unit. Over here, we've got obviously the residential places at Halifax, but locally we've got a place called Folly Hall, which is where the psychiatrists and psychologists for the community are based. And I was invited to go on a 2-year course called DBT, which is dialectical behavioural therapy, which is just a posh title for learning about, what do they call it now? Staying in the here and now was mindfulness. Mindfulness, yeah. So that was quite useful. Met some interesting people on the course there as well. But yeah, just having an awareness and the use of, if you do have negative thoughts, that you can get into distractions, which might be watching a box set, or it might be going for a walk, or colouring, or all different things, creative stuff,
So what creative stuff do you do?
What do I do? So I guess I can drag in men's talk at this stage, because I do sort of do acting with them, but obviously there's the preparation and rehearsing that you do on your own and during the process. I like to do creative writing. I'm part of the Your Voice in Kirklees team, so I do write articles for them. We have 4 magazines a year, so I usually shove in a couple of bits of copy into each magazine, and that's quite stimulating, because one thing I did find it clear, the really good group they had was creative writing, and when I left Clear, there was a bit of a void in my life. I thought, I could write for myself at home, but it's nice to share it and interact with others. And there was a guy who used to work for Clear called John, can't remember his last name. Anyway, he was on the Your Voice in Kirklees, and he got me introduced to them, so that's been very stimulating.
You find it takes up a lot of your time?
I can usually rustle up an article overnight if I have to, but yeah, thinking about it takes time. I do tend to work better under pressure. Somebody says, learn these lines for like 6 months' time. I'd like leave it until
5.5 months to go now.
Yeah. But Stuart said, I'll learn these by Tuesday, then hopefully I will.
All right. Well, looking at these questions, I think we've answered them all.
All right, okay.
In roundabout ways.
Mm-hmm.
Apart from lost ways.
Right.
What's your plans for the future?
My plans for the future are just stepping back a few years. I did spend 2 years living in a transit van, and that was a really lovely experience. until the band died. And then I had to re-enter the rat race. But I would love to get, because I will get a little bit of money coming when I get to state age of retirement, which is in 2030. I would love to buy a van and convert it. I wouldn't give up my property like I did before. I'd keep the property on, but I would go away for a few weeks at a time, sleeping in my van, That's certainly an aim. I've got the book How to Build a Camper Van, which I will look at.
It's nice to have plans, isn't it?
Yeah. I've no desire. I mean, I've been abroad loads of times. I've been to Australia, I've been to Miami, I've been to California, Moscow, and loads and loads of places. I've no desire really to travel. I mean, I lived in Dominican Republic for about 4 months at one occasion. And that was a great experience. It was so hot. I went to Miami in 2017, and my God, it was so hot. I was like a lobster, I had to cover up. And people looking at me, oh, this guy must be from England. He's wearing long trousers and long sleeves. The only thing was my bright red face, of course, from the sun. That while I was there, we had a hurricane. That was quite interesting because we were booted out of the Travellers' Hostel, and we were given two choices: either you go to like a rescue centre type place, or you take your look and find an airport hotel. So I didn't fancy going to the sort of rescue places. I threw my hat in the ring with Booking.com. I managed to get hotel rooms, but like capitalism shows no mercy, and a room that would have been like $50 a night was like $150 a night. So I went through $1,000 in about a week just on hotel rooms, and we had no electricity, and thereby no food. The only food I had were Hershey bars and peanuts. I lived on those for a week, but I digress.
It's interesting that when you said those two options, I didn't think you'd go for the hotel option. I thought you'd go for the other one.
Well, I would have gone for the other one. The only problem is, absolutely everybody were going to these centres, so not wanting to be too judgmental, if you go for a pee and you leave your passport and your credit card by your bed, or do you take it all with you? Do you know what I mean? And because it might not be there when you get back. And the first thing they get you to do is sign a disclaimer, that okay, everything's at my own risk sort of thing. At least with a hotel room, you've got a safe and you've got a key to your own place. And as I say, I've been in a hostel there for about a week and a half, and I was tiring of it a little bit. I've done hosteling before where it's worked out really, really well. But this time it was a bit different because it was just really young people who were just like, they either slept on the beach during the day or they just never got out of the dorm. And then obviously it'd come sort of 6 o'clock at night, they were like alert and out and what have you. Whereas previously I'd stayed at the same hostel in Miami, and it was the dorm they put me in was full of illegal immigrants, so that was really interesting. I made some good friends from that experience. But no, I've no desire to go abroad. My son lives in Seattle and he wants me to go over. But Trump has made it so awkward now for people to travel to the States, because it's not, you don't just need the ESTA visa waiver. He wants to know your social media
account and
history and all that. And I think, well, forget that.
We won't go down that route. Nothing but got to go down there. So I think that's everything.
Right.
Oh, I think that's. I think.
Yeah.
Are you happy with everything?
Yeah.
You don't say anything else?
Don't think so.
Okay. Right. So that's the end of the episode. I'd like to say thank you to David Crabb.
No, thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for joining us, and I hope to see you again when we are joined by another guest. Goodbye for now. This has been a Talking Bollocks Podcast, a Clear Men's Talk production. Thank you. Take a bow. How was that?